And relax. Rest your hands on your thighs. Palms are facing the ceiling. And observe any sensations in the body, in the mind. We'll do the last and final round of Bhastika. So let's bring our loose fist back beside our shoulders. Our spine is erect. And let's take a deep breath in and let go. Together, begin. In, out, up, down, up, down, in, out, in, out, up and down, up and down, in, out, and continue. And relax. Rest your hands on your thighs. Palms are facing the ceiling. Now you can sit easily and comfortably. You can have your back rested if you need, if you'd like to. And we'll go through a short guided meditation. So with our eyes closed, body relaxed, let's take a deep breath in and let go. Now with this gentle smile on the face, let's take another deep breath in and let go. Listen to the noises around you. The noise from the AC, the noise from the traffic outside, and the noise of my own instructions. Listen to all the noises. And be in harmony with the environment. Breathe in and let go. Become aware of your physical body. The body is a beautiful gift from the nature, from God. Honor and respect your body very dearly. Become aware of your feet, legs, your thighs and hips, genitals, abdomen, stomach, chest, shoulders and hands, neck, face, head, and the whole body. Become aware of your whole body. Breathe in and let go. Become aware of your thoughts. Whether good thoughts or bad thoughts. Do not resist your thoughts. Let them come. Now you're in harmony with your thoughts. Breathe in and let go. Become aware of your feelings. Whether pleasant or unpleasant. Let them be as they are. Take a deep breath in and let go. You are peace. You are joy. And you are love. Breathe in and let go. Become aware of your feelings. slowly and gradually. When you feel complete, you may open your eyes. How was it? Good.
Very good. Thank you.
It's very good.
Oh, awesome.
Very good guidance and very peaceful. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah,
Dheeraj, would you like to say something about our programs?
yeah, please do that.
Yeah, thank you. See, just few minutes of breathing and meditation, you all can see the difference in the state of your mind, right? Can you all see, notice that there is a calmness in the environment totally right now?
Yes.
Yeah. This is what you got is just like a taste of it. We go to an ice cream shop, we just take a sample of each of it. This is what it is. But when you attend any of the workshops, what you get is like much more. And yeah, in December, we have one workshop that's coming up. It's on December 4th to 6th. And our master, like the founder of the Art of Living, the main guru who is leading the organization, he will also be part of the workshop,
Oh,
which is upcoming in December. Yeah. And there'll be close to 5,000 people meditating in the entire country at the same time. So we are like about 10 people, and we see how much of energy we have created right now. Like there's so much of calmness, but yeah, close to 5,000 people meditating at the same time in the entire country. The wave is going to be much bigger. Yeah.
it'll be awesome. It will be very good experience to
Yeah.
participate in such a huge with so many people. And
Yeah.
this is the reason why we do all the bhajans together, so that the combined energy, energizes everybody and
Yeah.
the whole environment around us and the whole world. Very good.
That's true. It is very much needed, right? At this point of time, especially. We should all be so grateful that uh, we have access to such kind of beautiful, profound knowledge. There are many people in this world who are waiting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us the
I
opportunity.
do you have any specific advice or guidance if you want to do meditation on our own in the meantime?
Yeah, we can share some YouTube audio instructions for beginners. And if there is someone who has already been in practice, maybe you can reach out to one of us, me or Panch. We will see like how is the practice, and based on that, we can uh, advise like what is best suitable for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
If not, I'll ask Panch to share some information with you all, which you can share with the group.
Okay,
That will have like a series of 21 meditations, which you can do one each day. Yeah.
good. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Panch and Dheerajji. Fantastic. Thank you so much for guiding us through the meditation and pranayama. And can you say a couple of words about the Bhasmika pranayama you showed us? What are the benefits?
Yeah. I can. You want to say much? You're on mute. I cannot hear you. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Dheeraj. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bhastrika,
Bhastrika, sorry.
called Bhastrika, or in English we also call it as bellows breath. We all know that bellows machine, right? Where we fill in the air with that pump.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. Like we raise our hands and we get it down fully, and we get all of our energy up. Yeah. You must have noticed, right? Like the energy went up instantly. Yeah. We also call it as like yogic coffee.
Oh,
In modern terms, yeah. Not in Sanskrit terms, but in the modern terms, we call it yogic coffee, you know. All the time we are like, whenever we need energy, we look for a chai or coffee, but just take 5 minutes of your time and do this, and you feel like a lot of energy is coming up for you.
yeah, definitely. Good, good.
We can do more different types of breathing techniques in the future again. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And anyone wants to practice it, yeah, you can practice it on a daily basis also. You all got it hopefully right now. Yeah. Just maybe like 15 times each round and 3 rounds.
Okay. That's the best. Okay.
And one only thing is, if someone is a pregnant, then it's advised not to do it, but everyone else can do it.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. And to and we want to see you again in our next session, and I will keep you informed of our schedules, and we'll be so happy if you can guide us through this process again. It's very beneficial to all the participants today. And thank you from Hindu Temple of San Antonio, Veda Dharma Group. Our thanks to Panch and Dheeraj. Have a good day, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Glad to be here.
Now, to all of us, we are going to start our Gita studies, and we are going to start with Gita Dhyana slokas and the chanting of Karma Yoga. This is going to be done by Sritanvi Kota. Sritanvi, ఎక్కడ ఉన్నావు నువ్వు? Okay. Okay. So let me put Sritanvi on the spotlight. So Sritanvi is as you all know, she has memorized all 700 slokas of Gita, and she is going to start today's our session with Gita Dhyana slokas followed by Karma Yogam. And we chosen the Karma Yogam because that is going to be a short discourse by Sri Ramakrishna Rao Garu will be on Karma Yogam. After the talk by Sri Ramakrishna Rao Garu, we are going to go back to our format. We will be studying a couple of slokas from the Sankhya Yoga. So we'll start with Gita Dhyana slokas. Sritanvi.
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ गीताध्यानश्लोकाः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमला प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गम् लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः एकं शास्त्रं देवकीपुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकीपुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा ॐ श्रीकृष्णाय परमात्मने नमः Shall I do third chapter all the shlokas or 1 to 25?
చాలా ఉంది కదా శ్లోకాలు కదా ఇందులో
43 ఉంటాయి 43
యా మనకు టైం ఉందిలే
సో అన్ని శ్లోకాలు చెప్పనా
యా
ఓం శ్రీ పరమాత్మనే నమః అథ తృతీయోऽధ్యాయः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच ज्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्विष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायेभ्यः यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अघायुरिन्द्रिया रामः मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेय जातु कर्मण्यतन्त्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद्विद्वांस तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहं न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्मविभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तः मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान चेतसः सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नवशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एषः रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विध्येनमिह वैरिणं धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निः यथादर्शो मलेन च यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेणानलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनं तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम् इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धेः परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम् ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य
मामेकं शरणं व्रज
सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
Excellent.
Good job, Sitanvi. Wonderful. Very happy that you joined us today, and very good start. Thank you. Very energetic chanting, recitation. And as you all know, Sitanvi is our teacher. She is helping us to learn Gita slokas correctly, pronounced correctly. And we have a big Gita Mahayagnam going on in all over the country, in our Texas, in San Antonio. There are 24 kids and adults are participating in learning this. Some of them are learning, memorizing, and some of us are trying to understand, trying to chant correctly. So thank you, Sitanvi. We'll see you again next time. And now I request Sri Ramakrishna Rao Garu to give us a good summary talk about the Karma Yoga and this message to all of us, children, adults, all humanity. Ramakrishna Rao Garu? I saw him in a few minutes back, maybe. Okay. Yeah, it looks like he left. I'm going to call him to join. Ramurthy ji, you want to say a few words in the meantime? Let me call Ramakrishna Rao Garu.
I know I have been away for a few sessions. I am joining today, and hopefully I'll be able to continue. Let you make your phone call.
Okay. So Ramakrishna Bhagavan is going to join us a minute. He had some internet issues. So in the meantime, so we're going to read the, we have been studying the Sankhya Yogam. So let's start studying the Sankhya Yogam before Ramakrishna Bhagavan comes and gives us a summary of the Karma Yogam. So last time when we left off Sankhya Yogam, I believe we were studying this 46 or 47 Yogastha. Maybe we can start with 48. So I will chant the 48th slokam, and then we will go through each and every word's meaning. (44), 45. Maybe I think this is very 47. Let's start with 47. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भूः मा ते संगस्त्व कर्मणि. So in this stanza, Krishna is saying, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. So here, karmani. Karmani means in prescribed duties. Eva, only. Adhikaraha, the right. And ma means not. Phaleshu, in the fruits. Kadachana, at any time. Ma, never. Karma phalam, results of the activities. Cause. Bhu, be. And like that. So this is an extremely popular verse of Bhagavad Gita, so much so that even most school children in India are familiar with it. It offers deep insight into the proper spirit of work and is often quoted whenever the topic of the verse gives 4 instructions regarding science of work, but do not concern yourself with the results. The fruits of your actions are not for your enjoyment. Even while working, give up the pride of doership. Do not be attached to inaction. That is the meaning of this particular sloka. I'm very happy that Rao Garu is back now, Ramakrishna Rao Garu. So he is going to give us the essence of the Karma Yogam, which we just, Sitanvi chanted us. So sorry, it's all yours. So you can please take it for it. You can have about half an hour time, then we can have some question answers so that we will make the session more interactive.
Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaisthavaihi Vedaihi Sangapadakramopaniषदैर् Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na viduhu sura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. Om Sahana Avat Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Respectful friends, Dr. Madhurao Garu and all the other participants in this beautiful discussion. my salutations to every one of you. Please let me know whether you can see me properly or whether you can hear me properly. Thank you. If there is any problem, please let me know.
So we can see you and hear you properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, Bhagavad Gita, before I start on this one, I would like to take a couple of minutes about the introduction to Karma Yoga and how we have come to this stage. Number one, I know that there are many young people in the group, and Dr. Madhav Rao told me that there are youngsters in this, so when we talk about any of the topics on Bhagavad Gita, if they can get some practical points, it will be most useful. So I keep that in my mind, and from that point of view, I'm going to talk. Let us say the stanza that I repeated now, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta. Here is Bhagavan, Krishna, personification of Parabrahma, the ultimate knowledge. And here is another one, a day-to-day person like me and you, who is inquisitive to know about the truth, about success in life. This concept for children here, it is very difficult to have it. How can the ultimate be in the form of a human being? And in this aspect, we need to thank our ancestors, our rishis, like Vyasa, Valmiki, and great people who have dedicated their life to bring the beautiful ultimate thoughts. What the pinnacle of the understanding of the human beings can be brought down to our level, and these thoughts are left in the concrete form, in the form of scriptures. And this is one of them. Let me start with a story-like thing. This young prince known as Arjuna and Krishna, when this happened about 4,000 years ago, that is in 3000 BC, they were about 40 years of age. And all these 40 years, they played together, they hunt together, they walked together, they had parties together. In fact, his sister was married to Arjuna, and they were relatives, and we can see how our cousins, we react with them. All these 40 years, the thought of Bhagavad Gita did not come to any one of them. There was a time when Arjuna tried his best, Krishna tried his best to go in dharmic way and to get their kingdom, and Kaurava did not give. So ultimately they had to reach Kurukshetra and fight it over. And till that time he was very enthusiastic to go and fight and win the war and bring the kingdom and see that Pandavas rule. In fact, Krishna also had his agenda. His agenda is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata, which we see here in the coming few pages. This was his work. And he had also planned out Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Dushkritam. They had proved already, Duryodhana and his army and his supporters, they were hurting other human beings, hurting society, not standing with the righteousness. So it was the karma of Krishna to be established here, to establish dharma and karma. And he wanted the help of Arjuna. And Arjuna and his brothers, as we know that they suffered a lot for altogether 13 years. And they were treated so badly in all those years. They suffered all this with lot of patience, with righteousness, and listening to their friend Krishna all this time. And now, when face to face Arjuna has to fight in the war, then he says, Senayor Ubhayor Madhya Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. Take me to the center, let me see who are all prepared to fight with me. And there he looks at them. Bhishma, his grandfather, Drona, his teacher, his uncle, maternal uncle, brothers, co-brothers, and in war anybody can be killed. Even on his side, he looked at Dharmaraya, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, people strong and weaker. And war will swallow everybody. And when he saw that, then he becomes weaker. Weaker to the extent that he says, Tam tatha kripayavishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidam tam vidam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. I am not going to fight here. My Gandiva is falling down. Because by killing all these people, I'm not going to achieve much. I want to become a sannyasi and then go away from the war field. And this thought comes to this Arjuna only in the war field, when he looked at his own people. Before this, he had fought many wars and he didn't have this thought. When he saw his own people, kith and kin, and where he had to do some dharma, then all of a sudden he thinks all the consequences, and then he says, I don't want to fight. In this situation, Krishna saw that how to make him to do his duty, how to make him realize his duty, how to make him into the path of karma. And that is how Bhagavad Gita starts. And he looks at Arjuna and tells him, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anaryam ajustam asvargam akirtikaram Arjuna. This doesn't bring good name to you. It will not take you to the heavens. It will take you to the hell because you are a Kshatriya. You have come here. So, Kshudram Hridaya Dairbalyam Tyaktotishta Parantapa. The weakness of your heart is Kshudram. Among human beings, their behavior, their actions, they are assessed by their actions and what they do. If you do a good action, you are a good person. Mediocre action, medium person. And if you don't do things that are need to be done at a particular time, particular place, then you have failed there. That's what he says. Give up and get up and attend to your work, your job. This is not an easy thing. And when they go through, it is exactly like this. I would like to use some of the examples for the children, those who can understand. It is this early morning. Father gets up, asks the children to get into the car to go to the school. It is already November, December, especially in Rochester, New York, or somewhere people who have lived in Chicago By this time, they will have 10 inches of snow on the road. In the driveway, you pull the car, and car makes a gurgling noise and stops. Unless you start the car, he will not be able to drop the children in the school. He will not be able to go for work. He won't be able to get the groceries. He will not be able to do anything on the day. So there is a jump start needed. And the jump start is the one, Sankhya Yoga. And he has to make him understand the decision what he has taken on the base of love and affection is not proper. So he says, you are telling that you are going to kill your relatives and friends. They have already been killed, number one. Number two, you are not going to kill them. You are not going to hurt them. Because in reality, they are all souls. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya namani krishnati naroparani. These are all just waves, but the real ocean is the Atma. And that is how the Sankhya Yoga is being taught to Arjuna. And Arjuna has to get convinced, even if he shoots his arrow, even if they die, he is not the one, he is not killing the truth. That is one aspect. In karma, what happens is, it is always associated with result, action and reaction. And if you do certain things, it will bring you certain results. If you sow a seed of mango, you will get the tree of a mango. If you sow the seed of an apple, you get the apples. Each karma is a seed, and we want to make sure that seed is good for me, for my family, for the society and the people around. I don't want to sow the seed of a thorn plant, which will give more thorns and hurt people. And that is how he has to educate him about the whole karma philosophy. And Krishna takes him, before even Krishna takes Arjuna step by step, Arjuna falls at Krishna and requests him, please prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha. I have completely become numb about dharma. What is the right action? What is my duty? So please tell me, yat shreyaha syan nischitaha, the one that makes my life successful, shreya. Shreya is an important word in our literature. Preya is another word. Preya is something with which we get car, house, food, pleasing things for all our senses. These are all prayas. And he is asking, which will uplift my understanding, living, thinking. Yat shreya syan nischitam. And you please guide me. Now, as I mentioned, even though 40 years have gone by for both of them, Arjuna did not have a chance to ask him, and Krishna did not have a chance to explain to Arjuna. In this junction, the need came in, and Arjuna kneels down and asks Krishna to describe his duty, what needs to be done. Bruhi tanme tvam prapannam. Bless me and guide me. Prapanna parijataya totra vitraika pane. We see that, we heard and we read in our Jnana Shlokas. When we read this kind of scriptures, my request to the young people here is, unless we put ourselves in the position of Arjuna, you feel the necessity of it. And then the advice will go in. You will be able to understand much better. We'll be able to follow it much better. And we can understand the seriousness of that one much better. If the child comes from school in the evening at 3:30, Mom, I'm hungry. Whatever is cooked, we'd like to grab. Otherwise, open the refrigerator, pull out an ice cream cone, and then eat something because you are hungry. You would like to have it. But where is on the way? If you stop by at Pizza Hut and had a whole pizza for yourself, and then you come home, however much the mother has cooked the beautiful, nice, tasty food, that may not taste good. So when we are reading these things, once in a way we need to slap at our own mind and intellect. I am kneeling down in front of you. Whatever this teaching is coming out, let it really guide me. That it is known as arhata. We need to have it. We are not listening to Gita or learning to chant because the force of parents or anybody. And for parents have to force it because this is the only opportunity for children to learn about these things. And after 16 years, they have their car and they walk away anyway. So parents also try to do their best. That is their job, their kartavya, and their karma they need to do. And children have to learn here. This is the best education what you are learning today. So I told you the mentality with which we need to approach the preparation of mind. And after approaching, what happens here? Krishna gradually takes him step by step. Karma Yoga is being taught in this book. It's not taught. Bhagavan just offers it to Arjuna. And we are all sitting on the side and just eavesdroppers. And we are learning it. So we need to have similar kind of interest and respect and attention to Karma Yoga here. And Karma Yoga, even though supposedly it is in the 3rd chapter, but it is all the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita touches upon different aspects of Karma Yoga. And by the time that you finish 6 chapters, then it starts with Bhakti Yoga, another 6 chapters. And then you go to the end, another 6 chapters of Jnana Yoga. In this 18 chapters, not only these 3, he includes Dhyana Yoga, Gana Yoga, everything that is possible to make a person totally successful in his life and peaceful. So this entire Bhagavad Gita can be called as Jivana Dharma Yoga, the duty for everybody, to whom all. It is the karma is different for different people. A child has karma of attending to the school, doing homework, getting the good grades, not getting involved with the problems is one part of Karma Yoga for children. That is Balyavastha or Brahmacharyavastha. Once they come to the adulthood and they go to college, they have a different kind of responsibility, different karma they need to do. And if they get into the family situation like Grahastha Avastha, they have a different karmas, Grahastha Dharma, karmas that are involved there. And then sannyasa, vanaprastha and sannyasa. What he says, Arjuna, in the 2nd chapter, in the beginning itself, Krishna, I don't want to fight here. I don't want this kingdom. I don't want this happiness. I would like to become a sannyasi. And that path is known as Nivritti Marga. But Karma Yoga takes you to Pravritti Marga. Pravritti means getting involved. And to look at it from a broad aspect of it, every object in the world, including the sun, moon, galaxies, stars, human beings, society, animals, human beings, they are all involved in karma. He says, if you want to be successful in your duty, Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana. Because there are a lot of questions will come in this, because I'm not going through in a very methodical fashion, but I'm just picking up the good phrases where we need to remember about our karma here, karma yoga. If you want to be successful in something, in your project, in your PhD, in your surgery, in your engineering feat that you are going to build San Francisco Bridge, or a Nobel laureate if you want to become by doing something great in chemistry, you have to concentrate on your work. Concentration. He takes the example of even a farmer. Unless he has a total concentration, you cannot till the land properly. You cannot put the seeds properly. And that's how you start with. That is culturing the personality. It comes. If you are not, if you don't follow this, Bahushaka hi anantascha buddhayoho avyavasayinam. You sit for studying something, the mind goes to movie, mind goes to music, mind goes to entertainment hall, mind goes to everywhere. He won't be successful. If mom is cooking, she has to concentrate on how she is going to prepare her either dish or sambar or anything. Otherwise, the dal will get burnt, vegetable will be overcooked. Everything has a procedure to go. Buddhi rekeha kurunandana. And this in the physical level for all the activities. And then he continues, even if the farmer tills the land, sows the seed, you study well, you go for examination, and then never expect that you are going to have always A++. Your right is only to do your best. Sit there and put your answers, what is asked in the question paper. Wait for the results afterwards. Karmanyeva adhikarste ma phaleshu kadachana. Very difficult for us, especially in Western world. This can create lot of confusion. If I don't get a profit out of it, why should I take the project? When you go for fighting here in the war, Krishna tells Arjuna, who wins, who loses, leave it to the ultimate. You fight your karma. Your right is only to act now. Act wholeheartedly and see that this action is so pure that it is not covered with the desires and anxieties and krodha, anger. Because I'm doing this work, I should get it. If I don't get the result, I'll get angry with people. I read in newspaper, some students went to a school writing the exam paper, and the supervisor came to see what else is happening. The boy was copying from another text, and he wanted to warn him, and he saw that there was a big knife by the side of him. That means if anybody comes and questions, he would stab him too. Why? When we are doing a job, it has to be wholeheartedly, it is pure, dedicated. See what best you can do. Don't look for the results. If you do that, then you leave the results to him and you will get. Only you have a right to ride the horse and to chase the horse. Who will come at the end, first or second? It is left to the consciousness of all the other horses that are left behind. Karmanyevadikarsne, about Karma Yoga. Karma is one, yoga is another one. Please remember this. Karma is work. Everything. Doing, cooking, tilling the land is work. The same thing, whatever I'm doing it for the sake of society. This is what you will see here in Bhagavad Gita, Loka Sangraha, that's what he says. Whatever karma you do, have it in your mind. I'm doing it for the Loka Kalyanam. That is the reason why that young lady has uttered the stanzas. Brahma did the yajna. Annad bhavati parjanyo. Because of the rain, food comes. With the food we eat and we live. And then when we are living, we do yajna and offer the same offerings to Brahma and Devas. They will be pleased more and they offer more to us. So Brahma created this system where the service should keep on going between people and the society and the nature. And that is how the Loka Kalyana will happen. Gandhiji took this principle of Loka Sangraha and he adopted the same thing. He told, spin the wheel so that people have clothes and food to eat. Loka Sangraha. And whole Karma Yoga was adopted by Vinoba and Gandhiji in that form. Even though he was a lawyer, he could have been a barrister and he could have earned money. But he thought that his knowledge has to be utilized to see that the people are helped. And that is how he went and he liked this Karma Yoga very much and he advised. If there is a cow or a bull, if that has to till the land, you have to take a yoke and put it to the yoke. And then you till the land. That one is known as yoga. If the bull is just doing its own job, if the yoke is standing there, if they are not connected properly, the results may not happen. In the same way, whatever actions we do, the actions have to have a purpose. And the purpose is, let this be helpful to the society, to the family, to the people. A good-heartedness has to be there. That should be the basis of Karma Yoga. I know that we are coming to the end of this. And before I go, as there is so much to be told about, I would like to just leave you with one story, especially for children. There was a young man. He left his parents, elderly parents, and he thought that he should do penance and become a big rishi. So he went to a jungle and he did prayers, read scriptures, and he attained some kind of siddhis. As he attained siddhis, one day a bird that was sitting in the tree, it just pooped. It fell on his head. He got very upset, impatient. He looked at the bird. Don't you understand that I am a realized soul, a great tapasvi sitting here and doing tapasya, and you messed up my head. So he looked at with anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. When he looked at the bird, got caught fire and fell down. He thought, look, I'm so much powerful. Anyway, my concentration is disturbed. So he went to beg to his food. He went to one house in Benares, and as he was begging, he went to a house. The lady came. She told, please wait, I'll get some food. As she was going in, her husband, who worked hard, he came in very tired, was not looking good. Immediately she took him to the house, and he had his shower, she cooked good food for him, total concentration. She fed him, and then she really realized, oh my gosh, a guest is waiting outside. So she brought a lot of food for the sannyasi. She wanted to give it to him. And he was very angry. He looked at her, just like how he looked at the bird. And she told him, gentleman, Maharshi, look, I am not a bird to be burnt away like that. I am a housewife. I have been doing my work, my karma, with so much sincerely. It was my first job to take care of my husband and the family who was really tired. He needed my attention. I beg pardon of you. You seem to learn much more about it. Then he asked, Mother, how did you know that I really burnt the bird? Yes, that is the effect of doing karma in the total dedicated way. Whatever the karma that falls into our laps, if you do it perfectly, you get the jnana immediately through that. He says, I cannot understand this. She says, go to Mithila. There is a butcher. Ask him the secret, he will tell you. This Brahmin boy who was doing penance, he goes to Mithila and he looks for his house. His name was Dharma Vyadha. Vyadha means one who butchers, sells the animals and makes money and goes. And he was standing there near the shop. When he went, Dharma Vyadha told him, just wait, I am busy with my work. I need to take care of my clients here. Let me do a good job to all of them. I will not take more profit or less profit. I will not hurt animals, but only I am selling the animal meat here. And that is my job. And let me take care of it completely, and then I'll take you home and tell you why you have come. And the very first thing that he told Vyadha, butcher told him was, were you sent by that lady in Benares? Oh my gosh. He is a butcher. He has not done a penance. And by birth, I don't know how much of samskaras he knows. But I see him doing his duty, his karma, selflessly. And then when he went to his father home, and this butcher, he went and took care of his old parents, fed them, made them make sure comfortable, and then he sat with him and he asks him what questions you have and how I can help you. And then the conditions goes on. The summary of Dharma Vyadha is you in your place where you are, either in whatever stage you are, like a brahmachari, grahastha, sannyasa, or one, wherever you are, at that stage, particular jobs are there, and you do that one wholeheartedly as a service to the ultimate. You will automatically get this jnana. So there is a bridge between karma yoga and jnana yoga. And if we keep on going like this, the same karma principle Bhagavan Krishna says in 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And he says, Sve sve karmanya abhirataha samsiddhi labate naraha swakarma nirataha siddhim yatha vindanti tatshrunu. He will not leave you about karma yoga just with the second chapter or third chapter or fourth or fifth, looking at all different aspects of it. He goes up to Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Karma is something which is the very basic, which everybody can do. We cannot live without breathing. We cannot live without drinking water. Krishna Arpanamastu. This is your prasadam. This is your food. I am helping somebody because I have been given enough time and energy and the knowledge in my life so that whatever I do, let it be a service to him. This thought has to come in. As I mentioned, in the Western globe, where materialism is the total bread and butter and breathing, it is difficult to practice. But still, people who want to enrich their lives, have peace of mind, contentment, whatever job you are doing, in that one, give a little place that this belongs to you. Karmanyeva adhikasya mahapaleshu. Vidyat karma karomi tattadakhilam shambho tava aradhanam. Let that thought come to us and proceed with that. This is about just the introduction of Karma Yoga. I'm so grateful for Dr. Madhav Rao for asking me to be part of this group and to share some of the thoughts. Sorry, I had to be in a hurry in the sense with this limited time to talk about the unlimited topic is something challenging. I feel that I don't think I have done full justice, but still I've tried my best to offer a glimpse of Karma Yoga, what I have in my mind. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that I could meet every one of you, and let Lord bless every one of you with the great inquisitiveness, interest in this knowledge, because I'm totally convinced that this knowledge will take us to the peace and ultimately to something known as realization. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaskaram. I leave you here.
Thank you,
Thank
Ramakrishna.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind.
Yeah. And this is time to ask. You have any few minutes time to answer any?
Sure, I'm here.
Yeah. So if any of the participants have any questions, please feel free to ask Sri Ramakrishna Rao Garu. Rao Garu, there's always this word karma is, there are 2-3 meanings, one way doing work is one. And whenever we talk about karma, we always talk about the our past life effect, what the karma is. So how do you relate or differentiate this word? It's a very difficult concept here.
It is a beautiful question. In our Vedas, they give a very simple example, Madhura Garu.
Okay.
A person stands in the war field to shoot an arrow, an archer.
Yeah.
And there is already a basket with lot of arrows where he pulls out and shoots. And pulling out from the basket where it's all contained there, that is known as Sanchita Karma, that is collected from our previous lives.
Oh, okay.
And then the one that he is having in his hand, the arrow, Avagata Karma, this is the one that is going to be, this is the only one that is in your control. But there is another one that is already, the arrow is being shot. And that one, you have no control at all from that. So in society, what happens? Prarabdha Karma is the one that is already gone. You have left you have done already. The karma is done. What shall I say? It has already burned the lungs. You have done the karma. It has burned the lungs. Lesions are seen there. What do we do there? That is prarabdha karma. One has to go through. There is no choice. the wound. And the Sanchita karma is one that has come with us. That is what has made us talk, behave, decide what we are going to do, with whom we are going to live. These are all Sanchita karmas. But this is Avagata karma, one, the present Vartamana karma is the one that is in our hands now, because we have not shot the arrow. And see how you aim properly now. See the direction and speed and go with that. So at least in the present life, in the present moment, let our behavior be the best. Hopefully, the acceptable to the Paramatma there. Acceptable. We come across this situation every day. We are totally ignorant and arrogant. You do not know how the people behave. Just the form is physical human form. Behavior is worse than the buffalo. Beasts, behavior. And we don't realize that. That is the greatness of these books and scriptures. If you read, it modifies. That has to happen. That is known as avagata, where you have control. But prarabdha, you have left it. And now what we do for all these things, he gives a solution for that. How to put all the ends to these karmas. Once again, karman, he says, carbon, whatever you have done so far, offer those things to me. I will take it. Prapatti. I did do all, the child wets your clothes. You have no control, neither the child not you. Now you have to go through with that, clean it up and wear another cloth. That is it. So previous karmas we cannot wash off, but there is a way in which by modifying the life, thoughts, our actions, we can really make our, why? What is realization? Let us not worry about the big words. Peace of mind, contentment, and happiness is most important. That's the world here. And that you will get it by shaping our actions and thoughts.
That's right.
Thank you.
Good. Good explanation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar, sir. Maybe I don't know who are all there. And I just can have a look at them. Ramurthy, Dr. Ramurthy, Namaskar, sir.
Some people have joined and they left also. Chandrika Ben, she always comes to our meetings, and Venu Kota is, I see his name there, and Rajan is there, and Sheila was there for some time, and many people came, and then after some time they left.
Okay.
Sheila and I are sharing the screen. So.
Oh, okay. So very, very nice. So this is one good way of understanding the message of Gita and analyzing it, and also understanding how we should behave ourselves based upon.
That is the main interest with which I go through with Gita. There is no point in going through all the classification of the implications of the philosophy.
Yeah.
Philosophy is there, that we need to use that one as only Shruti. But the real music is what raga that we are going to come up with. That is where and how it is going to be applicable to us in today's society. That is the main purpose with which I just mentioned few words about the Karma Yoga today.
This is the one actually we can easily implement in our lives, because if you leave the results to Krishna, then we don't get that attachment of failure or success, then we are in a better place. We don't get any depression if we don't succeed in our project. That's saying that, okay, this is the intention of Lord Krishna. Maybe next time we will succeed. That is the what many people say that's message you should get from this Karma Yoga principle, actually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Mala Chusam, sir. Namaskaram. Namaskaram to everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
So we are coming to the last part of our Gita, our Veda Dharma classes. And as we said before, we have been studying reading every slokam, and so far we are come up to Sankhya Yogam, half the way, and starting it. So I mean, again, in this particular sloka, I picked up part number 47. So Krishna is again saying that do your duty, but do not concern yourself with the results. And he also says that the fruits of your action are not for your enjoyment. He also says that even while worshipping, or even while working, give up the pride of doership. Don't think that you are the doer. Give. So Sri Krishna wants Arjuna to give up the ego of being the doer. If we think that we are the doer, then we get into problems. And he instructs Arjuna never to chase after preconceived motives attached to his actions, or not consider himself as the cause of the results of his actions. However, when he performs action, then why should we not consider ourselves as the doers of this action? So in this commentary, the speaker is talking about how to interpret each of these slokas. Generally, what we do is that we pick up the different masters and how they interpret each of these slokas, from Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and this particular Swamiji's. So different interpretations we take, so that we get a good comprehensive view of everybody, and then we can extract what is applicable to us, what we feel associated with it. So Ramurthy Garu, you want to say anything about this, our approach, how we study? And you're on the mute.
I'm sorry, this is good. What you've been doing is good. I think, you get different perspectives of different philosophers, and I think like you said, you can get the best of all their wisdom, words of wisdom. Yeah.
I was so happy about our STS library. There's so many books on Gita, and we don't use them actually. So I was bringing home some of those books and making some notes from those, so that we can share it with our members here, so that each sloka, how each Swamiji and each philosopher has looked at them, so that we can. Sometimes we have so many books, we don't know which one to read, and we may not have time. If somebody can summarize them, it will be nice, but it's a big task, of course. But we will do our best. There's no big rush for us. We will take our time and study one after another. That's what our plan is. So if you don't have any, I think they're almost coming to the end of this session, and we have been doing once in 2 weeks, but sometimes because of the time conflicts, we are not doing that regularly. We are coming down to once a month. And actually, I'm very happy that this format is much easier to attend rather than temple and attending it. We are getting more people by this format actually, and let's see how it goes. Definitely. I request Ramakrishna Lagos, can you please do the concluding prayers, please?
Asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Thank you so much. We will see you all next time. Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhavagar. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.